What's going on, guys? Welcome back to WWE Network and Show, where I, Graham G. Matthews, break down all the original content you watch on the WWE Network and on Peacock. And today we're talking the June 17, 2023 edition of the SmackDown LowDown, being hosted by Mackenzie Mitchell and Byron Saxton. So none of the usual faces. No Matt Camp, no Megan Morant. Megan Morant was on the show as the backstage interviewer. No Jackie Redmond. I don't know where, like I said, I don't know if they have ever actually explained her absence from the shows. I don't follow her on Twitter, so I don't know. I assume she's been taking time off to deal with, like, the Stanley Cup stuff. She has other obligations with other networks and shit, so I assume that's why she's been gone. I don't know why Matt Camp wasn't on the show, but Mitchell and Saxton were an interesting combo. I really like Mackenzie Mitchell in any role she does on WWE television, their digital shit and whatever. Saxton seems like a very nice guy. He's a fucking goof, though. I don't know. He just comes across as too goofy for my taste on these shows, specifically as a host. When he's an interviewer, he's fine because he's limited. And he's got a great personality. He seems, again, like the nicest fucking guy. He's a fucking goof when it comes to this sort of shit, though. Not my cup of tea, but whatever. They open up the episode replaying the tag team gauntlet won by Pretty Deadly in their post-match verbal exchange with Owens and Zayn, where they became the #1 contenders to the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles coming up in 2 weeks on SmackDown. We hear from Pretty Deadly here on the show backstage, and Megan Morant matching with them, and they hype up the tag team title match coming up in their native London, which they're looking forward to. And they also play up their accomplishments. They're not just a new team on SmackDown. They are former NXT Tag Team Champions, NXT UK Tag Team Champions, and they are the team to have unified the NXT Tag Team Championships with the NXT UK Tag Team titles. So they do have a nice resume for themselves. They've been around for a couple of years now, and they look forward to adding more gold to the resume in 2 weeks when they beat Owens and Zayn for the undisputed WWE Tag Team titles. And when they ask Megan whether she thinks that they can win, she says, "Oh, I'm a professional journalist, I can't say." And then they're like, "Come on, who do you think's going to win?" It looks like she's about to say no, but then she says, "Yes, boy." And so she's on board with Pretty Deadly becoming the next tag team champions. So back in the studio, they hype up the tag team title match. Byron Saxton doesn't think they can get the job done. He does think at some point they can dethrone Owens and Zayn. He thinks they're capable of that, but not in 2 weeks on SmackDown. They replay the Grayson Waller effect with Charlotte Flair being interrupted by Bianca Belair. Good segment. Byron Saxton actually applauds Bianca and says what we're all thinking, that it's kind of bullshit that she waited her turn, wanted to get her rematch the right way with Asuka, and then Charlotte just storms in and gets a title shot for no fucking reason. He doesn't say that exactly. But he basically just says what we've all been saying, that it makes no sense that Charlotte's getting this opportunity and that Adam Pearce's hands are tied and there's nothing that he can do about it. So they hype up Asuka and Charlotte for the WWE Women's Championship coming up on SmackDown again in 2 weeks in London. They recap the Zelina Vega and Io Sky match won by Vega, and they replay the backstage segment with Shotzi challenging Bayley to a match next week if she beats Bayley, and Io accepting on Bayley's behalf. If she beats Bayley, then Shotzi, she takes Bayley's spot in the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match. We hear from Shotzi backstage on the show here, and she says that she needed this opportunity, and it would feel good to win the Women's Money in the Bank ladder match and earning that spot, not only being in the match, but winning it after all the bullying she's endured at the hands of Bayley and Io, as well as Ronda and Shayna, which he doesn't mention here. So in the studio, they hype up Bayley and Shotzi for next week's SmackDown. They recap the Santos Escobar and LA Knight match, won by Escobar, Knight attacking Escobar afterward. We hear from LA Knight here on the show very briefly. LA Knight always makes the SmackDown Lowdown must-see with his promos alone. Unfortunately, he does not talk very long. He just said that everyone will be left laying, doesn't matter if it's the other combatants in the men's Money in the Bank ladder match or just anyone else in his way like Rey Mysterio. But before he can finish his little interview here with Megan, he gets interrupted by Butch, and they start brawling. Santos Escobar comes in. He starts brawling with LA Knight, so they all just start brawling with each other, making me think we might get a triple threat with the three of them, the SmackDown representatives in Money in the Bank, next week on the show, before Money in the Bank in a couple of weeks. So as far as their picks, Mackenzie Mitchell picks Santos to win, and Saxton's original pick was apparently LA Knight, but then he switches it to Damian Priest for two reasons, because he saw LA Knight get flustered, and he doesn't get flustered normally, but he did get flustered on Friday, and that's why he's not picking him to win. And then also because Rhea might earn some equity. It might earn Byron some equity with Rhea if he picks Damian to win, so Rhea doesn't fucking kick his ass. And then actually to end the show here, a very newsworthy note. This was where it was made official initially. Money in the Bank coming up in 2 weeks from today. They officially announced what we were all thinking. I mentioned this in my SmackDown review earlier. Roman Reigns and Solo Sikoa in tag team action taking on the Usos. No titles on the line, unfortunately. Doesn't need to be, but I just don't like the fact that Roman hasn't defended since fucking WrestleMania almost 3 months ago, but whatever. That match has been made official for the show, and Byron talks about the ramifications. What about the NY family? How do they feel? Blah, blah, blah. So I love the fallout from the show here. Great stuff as far as the follow-up to that segment, because they replay the final segment as well. And they also hype up, which I completely forgot about, honestly. They probably mentioned it on SmackDown, and I just either skipped over it or just wasn't paying attention. I totally forgot about this. Ronda Rousey and Shayna versus Alba Fire and Isla Dawn for the winner-take-all, unification, undisputed, whatever, WWE and NXT Women's Tag Team titles coming up on SmackDown next week before the bigger SmackDown, in 2 weeks in London right before Money in the Bank. So good stuff here on SmackDown LowDown. We heard from LA Knight, Pretty Deadly, Shotzi. Good stuff here setting up the coming weeks of SmackDown and the Money in the Bank pay-per-view itself. Thanks for watching, guys, as always, or listening, rather. I appreciate it. Be sure to check out all my other SmackDown LowDown reviews in the description box down below. Be sure to like the video, drop a comment, subscribe to the channel for more daily content, and hit the bell button to be notified every time a new video goes up. Have an awesome one, guys. I'm Graham G. Matthews, and I'll catch your ass down the road.